I'm prepared.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Kilgore's Lair and the Tomb of Annihilation. We're starting a really special campaign this week. We are going to be playing um, D&D together, 5e, and we're using a really fun and excellent adventure to do it. But we're bringing together a bunch of people who played D&D with me back when they were much, much younger, when they were all 14, 15, 16, 17. And we're going to be playing it again together. About 5, 6 years ago, when we were still in Atlanta, I was running a game for, James and Kent, who are my sons, and also for Ford and Amon, Doctor here, and one other person, Emily, who may or may not be joining us, where we played D&D together, and we got to play about 16 or 17 sessions, and then we all had to move, and it kind of fell apart. Well, since then, I'm playing D&D online much, much more, and I've developed some capacity, and my sons and their friends are also playing D&D together a lot more, and so we decided we would try and get the band back together and play some D&D together. A couple things for y'all to know, just for everybody to know out there. Everybody on the stream who's playing is on the spectrum, and they are wonderful and outstanding human beings, and I love them all very, very much. And this is a really good opportunity for, I think, everyone to understand how outstanding these human beings are and how much they are um, dear to me,
The
and I
next
think dear
stage
to
of
you,
evolution.
as my son Kent would say. Thank you so much. So, all that being said, I'm going to introduce my table rules to everyone so they're familiar with them. Kent, you're outstanding. I love you. So, anyhow, I'm going to introduce my table rules to everybody. All right, and here's my table rules. They're fairly straightforward. Thing one, everything my players do, we assume is in character. And we got some new people here that we're going to be bringing into Tad's table rules. So, we're going to have a little bit of, tolerance coaching them on that. But here's a really good example. If you're talking to a merchant prince, and you decide you're going to have to, and you're trying to pull one over on the merchant prince, and you discuss in front of the merchant prince how you're going to scam him, he's going to notice. All right. So we don't do that. All right. Now, however, it's absolutely legitimate for players out of character to say, hey, how does this rule work? Or hang on. I got a question about, and that'll be obvious. So my players, and I want my players to try and stay in character as much as they can. The other thing we're going to try and do, and there's going to be some learning curve on this, is Fantasy Grounds has a mechanic called the Dice Tower. And what the Dice Tower lets you do is it lets you drop a roll into it. Now, skill rolls, almost always I have the players make blind. Now, why do I have them make them blind? Put them in the Dice Tower so I see the result and they don't. Well, when you're playing, if you see that you get a 23 on a perception check, you're automatically going to know, for example, that, well, I saw everything. Okay, that's fair, but it doesn't make you more physically in the environment. It doesn't get you engaged in the same way. So what I have my players do is I have them make their skill checks in the tower, and then I describe information to them. That 23 may be described as you see this, and this. The 4 that you roll may get you the same response because you're really not going to know if you're the player if you saw everything or not. All right, but what it does is it lets a player roll the dice, but it also lets me paint a picture from the player's perspective that informs them and lets them see the world. All right, something I very much try and do as a DM is I try and put my characters in the body of their players and give them a place to roll to and interact with the world that we share together. Well, I'm going to give everybody a chance to introduce themselves, explain, let you know who they are, and got a couple streamers here. They can talk to you about how they stream and what they do and what they're excited about. And if everybody would like to take a little bit to introduce their character, they can go right ahead. Uh, Aman, would you like to start?
Um, sure. Hello everyone. I am Amon Doctor. I am a variety streamer, variety VTuber streamer on Twitch, and if you are a part of been around people like Pleasantly Twisted or her community or anyone close to her, you would have seen me around. And I will be keeping my character secret for right now.
Excellent. So, James, would you like to, introduce yourself?
Certainly. Hey.
Twitch and YouTube, it's Super J Man here. I typically go by that mostly online. And my character I'm playing today is a turtle artificer known as Gruul. She's got a bit of a hunchback, kind of witch doctor-y. You'll see me playing that a lot. Most certainly you will.
Katniss, Phantom Dragon, would you like to introduce yourself and your character?
I'm Phantom Dragon, aka Kent. I'll stream every once in a while, and I exist. I'm gonna keep my character a secret because it's funny.
Ford, would you like to introduce yourself?
Okay, wait. Okay, yeah. I was getting nervous that my mic was not good, but it's on.
It is.
We can hear you.
I had a moment the other day where I thought it was on, but the sound was turned all the way off, and I didn't realize it until like 30 minutes later, so I had to check.
Oh, ask Dintar out in the stream how many times I've done that.
Oh, God.
Can confirm. Can confirm. I'm normally the one who taps him on the shoulder like, dude, you're muted still.
Oop. I'm Ford or Furbisms or Windows Apologist, depending on how you know me. I do a lot of random stuff, work with robots, collect things. Occasionally we'll do streams or videos on YouTube or Twitch. Just stuff, random stuff, usually gaming. And my character is a Tabaxi druid named Lonely Chaser.
Excellent. So, all right. Well, if you're all ready, we're going to get right into it. Everybody ready?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, outstanding. You all are in the city of Baldur's Gate on the Sword Coast in the world of Faerun. And you all have an acquaintance, someone who has helped you in one way, shape, or form in your past. And her name is Sindra Sylvain, and she's an arcanist. She's an adventurer. She has a reputation for exploring deep, dark places and bringing back information about them and sharing it with all sorts of scholars, people in Candlekeep, people in Baldur's Gate. And she specifically likes to find young or people new to sort of the adventuring trade and craft and give them a little bit of counsel, give them a little bit of coaching, help them launch themselves with a career. She feels that she needs to invest in the next generation of heroes to help strengthen Faerun in general and the Sword Coast itself. And so for each of you, this is someone who has given you magical aid at times, pointed you in the right direction for contacts, helped answer questions for you, and has given to you without any request for any sort of return. And she's reached out to you, and the only reason you can think she's reached out to you is you know that when she was a young woman, while she was adventuring, she was slain. And her colleagues brought her to the Church of Tamora, the goddess of luck, the goddess of adventuring for many, and they searched the goddess out and asked the goddess to bring her back to the world, and so they chose that. And she came back and finished her adventuring career and has helped people like you and other people pretty consistently. One of the things you've heard about, though, and you think it probably impacts her, and it's a little scary, is for the past several days, places where you work, the contacts you have are talking about this thing called the death curse. And it seems to be this wasting disease, which afflicts everyone who's ever been raised for the dead. So if you have been out there, and of course that's a lot of adventurers, it's some priests, it's some paladins, it's some government officials, it's many, many people. What happens is they immediately get thinner and weaker and slowly start to fade, sort of as the energy is drained out of them day by day by day. And for some people, this has happened very quickly and they're gone already. Well, when they succumb from it, they can't be raised again. And the other thing that's been happening is as the different temples over the course of the last several days have attempted to make this miracle work, use a raise dead or a resurrection spell to bring somebody back, it doesn't work. So there's a lot of concern about it. There's a lot of chatter going on in the streets. What has caused resurrection spells and raise dead spells to stop working? Because that's pretty scary. We live in a world where there isn't death as an or where there is death as an absolute. People in D&D worlds, if they have a good relationship with a temple, can often try and come back to their life if things go bad for them, and that's gone now. And so she has reached out to each of you and asked you to arrive at noon at her estate in Baldur's Gate for a meal. So, Aman, will you be attending? Aman.
Yes.
James, will you be attending?
But of course.
So, Phantom Dragon, will you be attending?
I have to follow Garul around, so of course.
All right.
Come on, my you little munchkin. Grabs him by the ear.
So, Ford, will you be attending?
Yes.
All right. So, Garul and Garul's escort, because I'm going to find out who the escort is pretty quick, are coming up to the front door of the estate. And this is actually a townhouse set on a small plot of land within the city of Baldur's Gate. You know that she also has farmland that she uses as investment property outside of town. So you guys come up to the door. And Ford, you are sitting back across the street kind of watching what's going on. And you see... James, could you go ahead and describe your character?
Yes. My species, being a turtle, is, well, turtle-like. I have my big shell, but I also have kind of a hunchback, so it's almost on a tilt forward. I am always carrying around a bunch of vials and other artificer materials that go with my class, and I look a bit, for lack of a better term, cracked out.
All right. So, Phantom Dragon, you're following Garul around. Can you describe yourself?
I'm a little goblin in, like, leather armor that doesn't quite fit, if that makes any sense. And I am wearing a jester hat that does not go with the outfit at all. It is rainbow colored and really weird. And I have a rapier on my belt and a banjo on my back. And I'm following this turtle around to the ends of the earth.
So
I also want to point out I have him by the ear.
Yeah.
kind of making certain that he follows you, right?
Yep.
All right. So, Ford, you see these folks walking up to the door. Aman, as you're coming down the street, go ahead and give me a perception check.
All right.
So,
Don't forget to put it in the tower.
all right. So you see this walking up turtle and also a goblin, and the turtle's got the goblin by the ear, and the goblin seems to be kind of amused by this, and he seems to be making a rather colorful commentary to the turtle as he moves forward. You see them going up to the door of Sylvain's estate or townhouse, and you see across the street a tabaxi with her arms closed watching them with kind of a smirk on her face. So that's sort of the scene as you guys come walking up. Let's see, Garul and let's see, Phantom Dragon. What's your character's name? How should I refer to you?
Kazoo.
Kazoo. All right, Garul and Kazoo. What are you doing?
I am following Garul to the door if she goes to the door.
Garul is kind of looking around for like a knocker or a doorbell or something, you know.
There is a big brass fixture on the center of the door, and it's got a wolf's head in the center with some glass eyes in it. And go ahead as you're looking at it and give me an Arcana check.
Okie dokie. Let's see.
That would be in the tower.
Yeah, I'm aware.
So to the stream, we got a bunch of people who are learning. Good job, James. Done very quickly. All right. You look at this, all right? You look at the wolf's head, and you're not certain, but you think that the two garnets in there probably have been ensorcelled, so whoever's on the inside of the building can look out. All right. So, do you knock on the door?
I actually get a little bit like intrigued and fascinated with like how the wolf's head exactly works. So it takes me a minute to remember. Oh yeah, oh wait a minute, I'm supposed to be knocking on this.
So you kind of get up to it and look like this for a bit, and then go like, "Oh," and knock on it.
Yeah.
Go right ahead. So you knock on the door, and for a man and Ford, that's what you guys see. All right, you see Gruel, her head kind of tortoise out of her shell, and you see her kind of look at it, and all of a sudden realize she's supposed to knock on the door, and the door sweeps open almost immediately. And standing in front of you is a tall, thin, older human. Very, very pale skin, dark circles under his eyes, long, thin, bony hands, and he says, "Oh, yes, the mistress is expecting you. Please come inside. It's Gruel and Kazoo, is it not?"
Why, yes, it
So-
is. I'm glad you heard us.
So, please,
All
please,
right,
please,
Come now.
come
Hugs
in.
him on the ear a bit more.
And he goes,
I brought my flask.
"Take the door immediately on the left," and he sort of points to it, and he goes, "It is the mistress's parlor. She will be down to see you very, very quickly. Have you seen other friends, other people who might be coming here today?" And he looks back out the window, and he sort of cranes around and narrows his eyes. He says, "Oh, they'll be here presently," and he closes the door and says, "Please, please, please come in," and he takes you off into the parlor.
Oh, most certainly.
Forward.
Now, Rule having a hunchback kind of isn't as fast. Probably isn't as fast as this guy would like, but she gets there as quickly.
I just run around Gruel to keep pace with Gruel.
So the butler, all right, with a long thin hand, stops, puts his hand down his mouth, and he looks down at Kazoo and he says, "Kazoo, while I go and get Syndra, if someone knocks on the door, would you welcome them?"
Okay, yeah.
And he goes up the stairs to go find his mistress. Ford, what are you doing?
Good question.
You go ahead and make a perception check.
Okay, 20 into the tower.
You got it. Well, what you're going to do,
Did I do that right? Did that
that's
work?
okay. Open your character sheet.
Character sheet. Wait, hang on.
And you're going to see some tabs on the right. You want to go to skills.
I am still figuring this software out a little bit. I can't figure out how to get to my character sheet.
Okay, you know where you see your picture up there where it says Lonely Chaser?
Yeah.
Double click on Lonely Chaser.
Okay, there we go. Thank you.
And
Okay,
then
where am I clicking?
on the right-hand side, you've got a bunch of tabs. You've got main, you've got equipment, you've got abilities, and you've got skills. Go ahead and click on skills.
Skills.
And you see all that long list of skills there?
Oh, wait, that's right. Okay. It's all coming back to me. Don't worry.
And now what you do is you just grab the perception dot, you just grab the die next to perception, and you drag it over with your
There
mouse to the
we
tower,
go.
and you drop it. Bravo.
There we go. Figured
All
it
right.
out. Don't worry.
So, Aman, go ahead and describe yourself.
Well, still want to. For those who are seeing, you see that there is, I believe I put down 6 foot tall humanoid, currently wearing a simple hood and cape, and sort of monkish clothing underneath, and what you presume to be from what you can tell, very, very hairy legs. And and there seems to be a little package on the back.
Ford, go ahead and make a nature check.
A nature check. Okay.
Wow, you are pretty certain that that's some sort of fey creature or fey touch creature. You're not certain. It might be a fawn or a satyr. You're not certain. When you see the hairy legs, it starts to make sense to you. And being a druid, this is something you know a little bit about. And he is coming down. He correct? She is coming down the street. So walking towards the door. What would the two of you like to do?
I'm gonna go say hi. Hello, my name's Lonely Chaser. Who are you?
And with that, I want to do something special. Before she actually starts talking to me, I want to do one of my special abilities
Uh-oh.
called, and I'm intentionally going to be doing this poorly. As a forewarning.
Oh, that's a bad idea. All right, got it.
I'm intentionally failing this.
Okay.
Out of character, I'm telling you I'm failing this.
Roger that.
I want to try and jump to the top of the building.
A building.
The highest point that I could feasibly land on and stand on. I'm using that special ability that I get for jumping.
Are you doing it like you're spooked because she asked you a question? Or
yes.
okay. So Ford, you come up and you say, "Hi, how are you?" And you see this satyr sort of squeak and spring, and he springs towards the townhouse. She springs. Sorry, I'll get this right. Sorry to misgender you. She springs towards the townhouse, bounces up, hits the wall about 4 feet below the top of the roof, falls straight down, hits the awning that's in front of the door that's made out of cloth and canvas, springs up in the air, and Aman, would you please make me an acrobatics check?
Okay.
And lands exquisitely on the ground like it was all planned.
I would ask if you were okay, but you seem to have landed pretty well.
So,
Yeah.
Can I roll a perception check to see if I hear something hit a wall?
I know what your passive is, and you have not picked that up yet. So now, how passive perception works is there's some things that if you're not, you can go ahead and make a perception check. Go ahead.
All right. You find it in my skills.
It says
Rolling a 1. This here. I think that was the right one. Did I not grab it? I didn't grab it. I'm very saddened now.
It's okay. You guys are learning.
There.
Oh my god. Okay, so
Did I get the right one?
occasionally I will show you guys. So Kazoo's inside, and Kazoo goes, "Here's thump, boing, badoo," outside. All right. So what do you do, Kazoo?
I walk out over to the window closest to it and just go, "Why, hello there! Are you here to hang?"
So you, so you go. You don't even open the door. You go to the parlor, and you open the door to the parlor. Stick your head out.
I open the window.
Open the window to the parlor and stick your head out and say this. Correct?
Yes.
All right.
Hello. Are you here to hang? When?
All I'm going to say is it's a goblin with a jester's hat and surprisingly outstanding dental hygiene
For a goblin.
for a goblin.
And you'll see my character does sort of get a blush of a pinkish blush across her face, and just goes on in. And
Oop.
I get the door for her.
and Ford, actually, a little treat for you. You do see a little green ear poke out
Oh,
of the back of that little package that I talked about.
Goes later.
So you have on your back a little small bundled up package about this big, about as big as my hands. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
All right. And all of a sudden, out of the top of it, a little green ear goes sprawling.
Ooh.
Now, does that look like a little miniature green ear to what we're seeing on Kazoo?
Yes.
All right. So you see a little miniature green ear poke out of it, and it sort of rotates and rotates and rotates. All right. And you pass through the door. All right. And coming down the stairs, all right, is the butler. All right. And he has this, she doesn't look good at all. I mean, she's in her late 50s. She's not a young woman, but she's always been healthy. She's always been vigorous. Like, she's retired, but she's still adventurous. She goes to the theater. She does a lot of social functions. But you see Sindra Sylvain, and she doesn't look good. She's hanging on to his arm, right? And she's got deep, dark circles under her eyes, and her skin is sallow, and her eyes look a little jaundiced, and she's just fatigued as she comes down the stairs with him, step by step by step. And she gets to the bottom of the stairs, and she goes, "Oh, thank you all so much for coming. Please, please, let's go into my parlor and sit down." And she goes, "Oh, could I please have some tea for our guests? Perhaps some cookies?" "Oh, yes, madam, I have them ready." He brings her in, and he sits her down in a big, large, gorgeous chair, and she thumps back into it and breathes, wheezing a little bit. So, and she says, "Please, please sit." What do y'all do?
and take a seat, I guess.
I sit on a couch and obviously try not to like bounce up and down like a little kid would.
Ooh, this is indeed a bouncy, fluffy couch. It's
Yes, I'm
outstanding.
visibly trying not to.
So, Garul, you see that they have brought in, and it's obviously not part of the normal furniture, but they have bought in a chair that is specifically designed for turtle folk to sit in. So it's got that slow curve with hooks so you can rest your shell in it and lean back and pull your legs up a little bit. So they very specifically have brought in a chair that is designed for you to sit in. And you can sit in normal chairs that like humans and halflings and dwarves and other people use, but
It's just not as well designed or comfortable, right?
yeah, you have to sort of wedge the edge of your shell, pull your legs in a little bit, and lean on your staff to make certain you don't topple over. So you can do it, but it's not super comfortable. So,
Yeah.
So
So was the chair in there when I arrived, or did he just bring it in?
no, it was there before you arrived. They had everything set up for you.
Gotcha. So I'd basically be in a separate room sitting down. I see her come in, and it's like, "Dearest me,
So,
you look twice your age, dearest. What happened?"
oh, I think
Don't tell me.
the same has afflicted me that has afflicted everyone. She goes, "Lonely Chaser, please, 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 come sit." So,
Okay. I come and I sit.
all right. And
Come
then
here, Kazoo. Sit yourself down.
the butler comes in and he sets down a pot of tea and he sets down some sort of cold beverage. It seems like it might be some juice. And he sets down some cookies and he sets down some Mitch fruit. And he sets down a little basket of what you immediately recommend Garul as a type of worm that your people eat that are awesome that other people don't necessarily like. You know what I mean? So he sets that down and he goes, "Good day," and he walks out. And she says, as you know, in my youth, I also was an adventurer as you are, and I have succumbed to the curse, I think, that is affecting everyone. And I have seen and I've heard of people who've passed from this life. It's a slow, wasting, horrible disease. I think I may survive for several months based on what my physician has told me and what the priests of tomorrow have told me, but every day I'm a bit weaker. And it seems that the less practiced you are in your craft, the quicker the disease progresses. Now, we're going to translate that into game terms for y'all. What she's in effect saying is that it seems to be tied to your level and your hit points, and it drains like a hit point a day over time from what she can say. All right. Now that helps you understand it in game terms, but that's not how she's talking to you about it. She's saying that veteran people with more experience seem more able to resist the disease and not succumb to it. So, as you know, I have contacts in the Harpers. And the Harpers, of course, are a group of individuals of like mind who work together to protect the North and really all of Faerun from extraplanar and foul influences that would destroy civilization as it has rebuilt itself. But my friends in the Harpers have told me that the source of this disease is an ensorcelled artifact called, well, the Soulmonger. And sadly, it is not anywhere close to here. It is in Chult, in the jungles, far, far to the southwest, on the other side of the place where the sun stands always in the sky.
Oh, where girls from?
You had to bring it up, didn't you?
Yes, from a place near Garul's home. I don't believe it is on the island where the turtles live and dwell. It is deeper in the jungles themselves on the main continent. But yes, it is there. So I imagine you must have some initial questions, and I am more than willing to answer them. Please, what you would do? What would you know? How can I assist you? Is this something you would be willing to help me with? Discovering this artifact, reclaiming it, or destroying it?
I want more
Well,
cookie stuff.
you've done so much for me. I'm more than willing to help. It's just that
Cookies.
I don't, as you may know, I don't exactly have the best memories of Chult.
Well, I can understand that. You would be going as my agent under my protection. And in Port Nyanzaru, I have some contacts also who I would introduce you to, and I would be traveling with you to the port and staying with my good friend while I was there. And I think I could at least give you the aegis and shield of my reputation to assist you, so you didn't have the problems from home that you have encountered in the past.
I think while all this is happening, out of character, while all this is happening, a little head pops out. And for those who actually want to look over, hold on.
So,
Trying to get this
It's
mod to
Goblin
work.
poop. And it wasn't
I think
me
it's
for
fair
once.
to say Garul is a bit too troubled by the current situation to really
Yeah.
notice, but
Goblin poop.
Yeah, okay.
there
There you go. There you go.
Kazoo, it's a baby.
Yep, it's a little baby goblin. Yeah, I went through the effort of making this model, and you see this little dude crawl out of the little backpack, and scurry on his way over to a cookie, and grabs it with his little goblin hands.
Wow.
well,
I had to do it. It's in my goblin nature. And that's out of character. All of that.
So
Because he was looking at this adorable baby goblin going, I feel a disturbance in the force.
What?
His head. Just looking at it going,
and Sindra goes, oh, I believe there must be a story there. And Sindra knows your name, all right? So she's going to say your name to you. What is your character's name?
Okay. And before I answer, this little dude does scurry his back on in, but you would still see him with a big cookie in his mouth. All right. There we go.
All right. So,
Sorry.
It's okay. So it's Aponia, is that correct?
Yes.
So Aponia, that seems to be a story here. How did you find yourself with a goblin child?
Mothers found him the same way that they found me.
Oh, so should I assume that this? What's the young child's name?
Garth.
Should I assume then that he is a novitiate in your order and under tutelage with you?
Not exactly. He's still just a baby. So
But your ward then?
you could say
Will you
more
be-
like baby brother.
Ah, I understand. Will you be able to travel into Chult with this child?
I believe so.
Good. I trust your
goblins
judgment
are
in this.
hardy folk. We can help.
Well, as I understand it, you can subsist on almost anything.
Yeah.
So
I prefer cookies myself.
there's a group of goblins that I know that have an affinity for pickles, which I find quite odd.
Pickles are good.
So,
Also, cat is very good.
and you see Sindra sort of smirk, and her eyes slide over to look at Lonely Chaser, who kind of gets a look on her face. So,
Yeah, about 5 seconds into making that statement, Girl's like, behave yourself!
so
What? I was just saying something I like to eat.
Oh, for goodness sake.
so
I'm
Humans
in
are
no
so
position
weird,
to
yet so
object to your
interesting.
request. Madam, it's just... Well, it's just nothing. Truth be told, I'll have to go back someday anyway. If ever to truly improve my skills and hone them.
Well, this, without a doubt, will give you an opportunity to lay some of the issues you've had in the past to rest. It will also give you a chance, I think, to explore deep into the interior of Chult. And there are many lost cities within. The history is deep and rich. And I think there'll be opportunities for you to explore and find out things that will be of use to you in your study of arcane science.
Perhaps
So-
you are right, though. With all the time I spent there, it's plausible but doubtable, if you understand.
Well,
But anyway,
but
I'm
you
more than willing to go along. It's just going to be awkward.
you have your concerns. I understand. You only do this for me and our friendship, but at the same time, you're worried. Your home is a hard place for you. I understand.
Yeah.
So,
Also,
Kazoo, you're in it for the pickles, are you not? And the cookies?
I'm in it because I'm going to be following Garul wherever she goes.
I understand. So,
She my friend.
and it's a wonderful friendship indeed. Lonely Chaser, I know that this is a hard thing to ask you to do, to go to Chult. Is this something you're willing to do for me?
Yeah, sure. I like the adventure. I think it'll be fine.
Well, there are one of the things that's happened in Chult is was a warlord, and you'll find out more as you explore more and you collect information. But there was a warlord deep in the heart of the city who was corrupted and turned into a lich. And there are sections of the jungle that are completely and totally overrun by undead, zombies, ghouls, some animated skeletons, things like that. And the touch of a druid to cleanse the land is something that is needed. So I think also you will find that although finding this artifact is central to my need, it will also serve your need as a druid to address some of the issues there. And I cannot help but feel that on some level, the undead infestation that Chult faces and the presence of an artifact like this that sucks the very life from creatures cannot be related in some way. And I think that's a puzzle that you will enjoy unwinding. And Aponia, I appreciate you coming. Have you then been given permission to adventure and travel by your order?
Yes. Well, it's more like I have to. Because it was sort of time for me to leave anyway. And this little fellow here, well, parents want to keep siblings together. And she just tickles little Garth's nose while he eats. And he's just halfway through already, so.
So you then have been asked then to begin your quest, your vision quest even, to come into your power and your relationship with your own chi. Is that correct?
Chi, God, whatever.
I
I know that both of my mothers want to try to either go down the way of the forge or the way of the fighting, so either or.
Well, I wish you luck on your journey, and I'm glad our needs align, because some of your skills and expertise I think your comrades will appreciate, and I most certainly do. So then you are comfortable going to Chult then to assist me with my problem?
Yes. I might even open up a little store along the way.
How much, well, you know quite a bit about Chult in some ways. Some of you do anyhow, but I'll share a few things that I know. You know, it's really a peninsula ringed with mountains and choked with rainforests, high mountains and a plateau and central river valleys. And it's choked with enormous reptiles, some dragons, but reptiles from an older age too that don't have the wit or brilliance of the greater worms. Savage goblins also, not truly kinsmen to someone like Kazoo, but
I shall
goblins.
beat them with music.
And of course, there's an army of undead that I've spoken to that prowls its jungles and ruins. Mapping the place has not always been possible, and nothing is known about the region's current geography beyond a few miles from the coast. Now, I want to share a map that I have with you, and you can see the interior area. I don't have a lot of information about, but everything that I have been able to collect information on, or that my agents have been able to share with me, is available to you. What I will do is I will have you teleported, or I will have us teleported to the port. And this is based on sea charts, logbooks, explorer journals, conversations I've had with friends of mine in the Harpers, and also in the Lord's Alliance. And this is as much information as I could bring together. And I think you'll find it useful. Keep in mind that this map is rather precious, and there may be one or two other versions of it made by other people with access to the same information. But I would keep it secret. I would keep it safe. This would be an object of perfidy, and perhaps malfeasance if someone were to know it was in your possession. So does that make sense?
I guess.
What I'm saying, Kazoo, is somebody could sell this for high margin and would want to steal it from you. Does this make better sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
All right, very good. So, any other questions for me?
Not quite. I think I understand.
Very good. So,
Can I have more cookies?
you may help yourself. Enjoy.
Where is it that? So where is it that you will be staying, so we know where to report back to?
I have a very, 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 very good friend of mine who's assisted me quite a bit. He is one of the merchant princes of the town. Just an outstanding individual who has, over time, really, really helped me to come to a better understanding of Chult. And he was also a very, very, very good contact for me as we traveled. His name is Wakando Atamu. So as I collected the information that I've shared with you, he helped me collect it. And he and I, when he was much younger, and I was also younger, traveled together on several adventures. He is a mage of no small water, and as a merchant prince within the city, he has the ability to... He has the exclusive right to traffic and sell in potions and scrolls and other minor magic items. He is the only individual who can do that. And one of the things you'll find out about the port is the different merchant princes have specific domains of commerce that only they have oversight of. And his is magic items of some import. So I will go and I will stay with him. And I'd be more than willing to introduce you to him. He's a good, good friend.
Of course, of course. So I presume, it being Chult, will be docking in Port... I can never say this. Port Nyazuru?
Yes. Port Nyanzaru.
Nyanzaru, thank you. It has been quite some time.
Well, when you are ready to leave, the quicker the better. I feel my days are numbered. But when you are ready to lead, I will teleport us to the city. So if you have people you need to speak to, things you need to collect, please do so as quickly as you can and return here, and we shall disembark.
Well, before we... Our character.
Mm-hmm.
I want to quickly look for a book about firearms, if that is allowed in this game.
I have not incorporated firearms into the game at this point.
Okay,
So, yeah.
that's fine.
Okay.
Then never mind.
Okay.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, any shopping we may need to do can be done there.
I'm
You know
going
me,
to go look for a
I have
picture
my home on
book
my back.
about Chult, because I can barely read any language.
So you're looking for a picture book about what?
Chult.
Trolls?
Chult. The
Chult.
continent.
Okay.
True.
All right.
Because they can't read very well, and I want to know more stuff. So, picture book.
All right. So you have to do some quick chopping. Lonely Chaser, do you have anything that you want to do?
Not particularly.
I'm sorry, what?
Not particularly.
Okay, so everybody's ready to go except Kazoo says, hang on, and runs off to the market to try and find a picture book about Chult, correct?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to say that for 5 silver pieces, you are able to find a book about Chult that is all pictures, and it's about Chultish history. All right?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. About 40 pages of different pictures with little mini inscriptions. Okay?
Yes.
All right. What I will allow you to do is intermittently, as you are reading it, I will, or if you're making a history check, I will allow you to have inspiration on up to 3 history checks, whereon you can open up the book and point to a picture and say, it says
Is this
here... Exactly. Are we good with that?
Yeah, it's a picture book.
Outstanding. So, all right. If you want to, if you don't want to have the map on your desktop, right? Because you're trying to save space, you can minimize it by right-clicking on it, and there's a little thing that says minimize. It's an arrow pointing in a square. Click on that, and it will reduce it. And you can drag it someplace where you still have access to it, but it's not tying up your table. All right. Okay. So I'm going to assume that everybody comes back together that afternoon, a little bit before sunrise or sunset. Does that work?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
All right. Is there anything else anybody wants to do before they before we leave?
Negative Ghost Rider. I don't think anyone else has anything important
No.
to do.
No, not exactly. Not at the moment where I am. Unless I want to spend a little bit of time doing some performing to try to earn a little buck or two.
You got about 4 hours, about 4 hours to kill. So if you
Yeah.
want, all right. So go ahead and give me a perform check and describe what you're doing.
Oh, I am going to be playing my lute, which I do have proficiency with, which I could get a advantage on.
Okay.
So there's 1 and 2.
What you can do if you want to give yourself advantage on your roll is if you see down below the dice box, there's a thing that says ADV and DIS. If you click advantage, the next die roll you make, it will roll 2 dice for you. And it'll give you the result for the highest one. Cool?
Okay.
All right. You end up, playing your lute. And you're doing okay. I mean, you've had better days where you're performing. You think you're probably a little bit distracted. And as you're playing your lute, though, you have several people walk by, and you are able to collect 12 copper pieces and 4 silver pieces. And you can go ahead and add that to your character sheet.
No inventory. Wait,
Uh,
5 copper pieces, right?
12 copper and 4 silver.
Okay. And silver pieces, and then 14 Okay.
All right. As you come back
something
together.
I would
Go ahead.
something that did occur to me I may want to do in the 4-hour period where we're waiting for Kazoo.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably do some artificing by I'd probably do some magical tinkering specifically on my staff
Okay.
and fit I guess a bit of a dim light for I'd want to have it shed light for 5 feet and dim light for another 5.
Have you reviewed the infusions associated with the class?
I mean, yes, I have. This is my first level artificer feature, magical tinkering.
Roger that. So you're going to make it so it can glow. Got it. That's excellent. So
Since we're going to be leaving around dawn or around dusk anyway, I figured I might as well have that for access.
All right. So
I have added the picture book to my inventory and spent the silver.
excellent. So all right. So you see, and of course, when Syndra's butler sees what you're doing, he opens up a little shop she has and allows you to do work in there. And she has a well-furnished shop and tools, so you're able to do what you need to do to make the adjustment without any difficulty. And you have that ready to go when everybody else returns. All right, so that's the equivalent of a short rest for you. So you're able to reset that and have that ability set. And everyone else pulls together, and it's about time to leave. Does anybody want to do anything else before we make the trip formally?
Not off the top of my head, no.
No.
Well, when you all come together, all right, she has a large leather bag, and she opens it, and she pulls out a bag of coins, and she hands one to Aponia. She hands one to Kazul. She hands one to Kazoo, and she hands one to Lonely Chaser, and she goes, "Thank you so much for your assistance. That's 50 gold pieces to each of you to help defray the costs that you're having doing this for me. And if you are in dire straits and need more assistance, I'm traveling with some additional coin, and I may be able to assist you. But this is what I'm able to provide with you initially to help offset your costs." So, and she gives you that, and I'm going to disperse it to you all now. So, everybody, whoops, I'm going to give you 50 gold pieces more because we have a character that's not active right now.
Right.
All right?
Oh yeah, I put that on accident and couldn't figure out how to get rid of it.
That's okay. I'll delete it. All is good. Or I'll just,
I forgot you could automatically distribute it. I went and punched it in, then I wound up with extra. So I fixed it.
I am chilling.
whoops. Sorry, Ford. Come back in. I booted you by accident.
You're
Um,
not worth to be on Argus. Nah,
Yeah.
loading.
I was
You
booting.
have little faith.
That's right. So Ford got the big boot.
How dare you, GM? We trusted you.
Smite thee.
Yeah, I was trying to disassociate her ownership of the character so I could minimize it, and I clicked the boot button, which punted all her characters.
Okay, hang on. I got it. Did I make it?
Woo!
Yeah.
Woo! Everybody's back on the game. All right, we're good.
I didn't break anything. Woo!
Yay.
All right, so we all ready to roll?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Syndra leans on her staff, and her butler's right there with her, helping her out. And she leans on her staff. She wipes the sweat from her brow, and you can see how sick she is. And she begins to speak. And she swirls her hands, and she makes a broader and broader circle, and you see silver light and then dust begin to spring for her fingers. And she spins her hand upwards, and then a ball forms in her hand, and she splices a piece of reality open, and you see a silver seam form in front of her. And she puts her hand through, and she pushes to the side, and she looks over her shoulder at all of you, and she says, "Come." And as she steps, you all feel a pull, and you shift. One moment, you're standing in Baldur's Gate. Then the aura is cool. It's relatively crisp. It's got the tang of late fall and coming winter to it, the beginning of the shift in seasons. And the next breath you take smells thickly of spice and mold and moisture and thick, heavy scents. Humans, waste, the smell of a city completely different and alien to what you've smelled before. You're under a blazing sun, and this is the most humid, hottest climate you've been in. Although Garul does find it rather comfortable compared to the rest of you. You smell tar, you smell fish, and you hear the flapping of canvas. And you hear this language around you that's sing-songing. So the rhythm of...
Want a smish.
You want a smish? We'll work on that. So... You hear common the way you hear common here, right? So, it sounds like English to you. It's very regimented, very Germanic, very crisp, very sharp Anglo-Saxon sounds. The language you hear around you is sing-song. It's almost like music. So you hear different sounds, a different language. The port is an explosion of color. The buildings are painted in bright shades of green, orange, and salmon pink. The walls are covered with murals of giant reptiles, tall creatures with spikes and spines and fans from their back, a creature with a three-horned head standing in front of you, a large one with small twisted hands and a mouth filled with teeth. And you see every building is covered with baskets and clay urns of colorful flowers draped in leafy, flowering vines. The city is a splash of color and a splash of green. You can see that green things grow on the sides of the buildings. From the top of the buildings, they spill down the side, and there's color. Music is constant. And you see dark-skinned young children running around in hats covered with flowers, covered with feathers, just total different color. So you're used to somebody wears blues in different shades. You're used to somebody wears browns in different shades. You're used to people wearing armor, and you're seeing some leathers, hardly any metal armor at all. You can immediately understand that as the air is so thick and so hot, and you're immediately sweating harder than you can have. But the whole city seems to be bustling, sweating, laughing, singing, and having a good time.
It's so pretty.
It is. So Syndra leans forward, and you can see that casting the spell had an immediate impact on her. She is not feeling great. So, all right.
Rule
Now,
wouldn't
to
be
maneuver
the-
around the map, all right, you've got that little gold knob in the lower left-hand corner of the map. You can maneuver up and down through it. So I want you to grab that little gold thing in the bottom, see the little gold square, and let you move around the map, all right? I want you all to try that so you're comfortable navigating it, all right?
Actually, I remember there is something that I wanted to try to get.
Yeah, it works.
All right. All right, now does everybody see the white arrow on the map?
The white arrow. Hang on.
All right, I just drew it, so we'll draw it again, and you can
And
see.
I've lost
all right?
the map.
Yeah, now you can see it.
Let
Okay.
me try and figure out how to
All
fix
right.
that.
I will fix it for you. I will share again.
Thank you.
No problem. If you ever close a image that I've given you, over on the right-hand side, you can see a series of boxes, little tables, right? One of them is called images. If you click on the images, all the items that I've shared with you will be there, and you can find them. Cool?
Okay, cool.
All right. So you are standing in front of that building. All right, and you can see Syndra leans forward, and she's exhausted. She can see that it's tough for her right now. Sweat's pouring from her, and she goes, "Ugh. Oh, good. We're at my good friend's house. Wakanga's within." She's like, "I'm going to go seek him out." She says, "If you can join me and come speak to him, or there's two inns that I know. The Thundering Lizard, and it's a little bit louder place, a little bit crazier place. Or there's Kaya's House of Repose if you just want a very stable, high-quality inn. But I do need to go find Wakanga and lay down." Very good.
Allow me to I kind of try to help her as well because I can tell she's really exhausted. Allow us to accompany you to him.
She puts her hand on top of your shell, and she walks beside you, leaning on her staff, and she knocks on the door with her staff, and the door opens up immediately, and there's a very large man and a very large woman in studded leather armor with short swords on their belt, both extremely muscled, both with their hair in long braids. He has a tightly cropped, very curly beard, and their dark skin. Then he goes, so who are you, eh? Oh, I think I know. You are Syndra. You're not Lorraine? She goes, "Yes, sir, I am." She goes, "Oh, the master is ready for you. Come. We expected you today." So, and he brings her inside. And this place is kind of gorgeous, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, the house is pretty big, and it's just filled with all sorts of wonderful space. And I'm going to share a map with you all now. They bring you into an antechamber and open up a set of double doors. And inside the double doors is this huge open air courtyard with a fountain in the center of it. And it's got beautiful smelling flowers all over it. And as you enter in and you look off through here, you can see that there is a larger room on the other side. And off to your immediate right, there is a courtyard behind pillows that has a sunlight that's letting light in, but it's not open air like this. And the two servants, bodyguards, you're not quite certain of their position, lead you in here and have you sit down. And this is a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous room. You have been inside of mansions in Baldur's Gate that would easily be overshadowed by the marble, the flowers, the art that you see here. And what's also apparent to you is this is a people who values making beautiful things. On the walls are image after image after image of historical things, of cultural issues, cultural items, and everything you see, whether it's a urn or a glass or just even the stairs themselves, is ornately and beautifully made by someone who expresses who they are through the thing they make. So you're surrounded by art, you're surrounded by beauty as you step into this space. And she hobbles with you over and she plunks down in a big pillowed cushion and leans forward on her staff. And you also see Guru, that they have on the wall there sort of a niche that's designed also for your people. So you can tell that he's probably done business with Turtle quite a bit, because there's several niches that you can lean back against and let your shell rest on the hooks and pull your legs up and just rest.
Mhm.
So, hey, is it true, huh? You're the most beautiful woman I know here, eh? Oh, welcome to my house. And and he runs over and he hugs Sindra and he goes, Sindra, you look like bad things have happened to you. Is this true? And he puts his hand on the side of her face and he says, I am so glad you are here. I am so glad I can help. And these are your friends then, I see.
Indeed.
So he goes, I am Wakanga Otamu. I am the merchant prince here in Nazaru, and what this means is that there are certain sort of commerce that I am the master of, and only I may do in this town. Eh? And I have achieved this by being honest and good at the deals I make, and being just in what I do. So, you are friends of my good friend, and I am your friend. Please, 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 let us sit, eh? Down. He goes, I will bring you teas. We have our teas chilled here. So, and he goes, and two of his servants run off. And he goes, so, I am glad you are with it. And something you notice is this room, this space, is cool. So, you guys all have been outside in the heat and stepped into air conditioning, right?
Yes.
When you felt the air conditioning, you were like, hallelujah, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's like that here, but you've never felt that before. All right? So this space is cool and wonderful. And he goes, oh, do you like my house then?
Almost certainly.
It's very, very
Have
pretty.
Quite the decor.
So, yes, I am very, very, very pleased with it. So it has been the work of many years, but it's for me and my family and my kins. My mother and my father still stay with me. So I have been widowed these many, many years, but also my daughter is here with her children, and her husband works for me. He is oversees some of the warehouses that I have, and we're able to do good business and help many, many people with what we do. So, and
Tall
today,
people are so
Well, most
cool.
certainly.
so,
It has been quite some time since I've seen this. It's kind of
So-
decor.
so do you have any questions? So,
Not at the moment. We mainly wanted to make sure that, well, we wanted to make sure she made it here in one piece.
So, I'm going to step out of the Nigerian accent that I was just doing. And several of you may know or may not know that I've been trained as an actor. And one of the managers that worked for me when I was in Atlanta, Muhammad, coached me on how to do that specific accent because he worked for me very closely and is one of my managers. But it's a little bit hard to detect, and I don't want to appear to be too stereotypical or presume to culturally absorb any African American dialect. So I'm going to step into a more traditional English dialect for everyone. But so you know, that was something I was coached in and I was kind of trained in with one of my friends. One of the things that he would do is he would have me do various different accents, and he taught me some, and I actually taught him a couple English accents that he liked too. But I'm going to step aside from that so everybody's comfortable. So how can I help you? What would you like to know here? As I understand it, you are here to help my good friend Sindra. Is this true?
Yes, we're seeking an artifact known as...
The Soulmonger.
Yes, thank you. The Soulmonger.
Oh, yes. This has to do with the death curse, does it not?
Indeed.
Yeah.
So, well...
we should seek it out and find a means of disabling or even destroying it before we lose our good friend here.
I would say that you will be hard-pressed to find a lot of information here within the city. I mean, there's many discussions of this, and I have heard the Soulmonger mentioned once or twice, and I imagine, knowing Sylvain as Miss Sylvain as I do, she has had has gathered information that I may not have had access to. But, well, I do have something that might be of use to you. I do. Hang on. And he leaves and comes back. And he comes back with a book. And it's kind of old, kind of beat up. It's got some weather damage. It's got some weather damage to it. It's got on the side of it in sort of gold, inscription, gold leaf, a bunch of sigils that none of you can really read. And he says, perhaps this would be of use to you. This was given to me by one of my colleagues, one of the individuals that had been trading upriver for me near Fort Vengeance. And it is records, I believe. It is notes, I believe, from someone's expedition, someone's experience far to the north. Or far deep into the jungles. And he holds it out, sets it on a table in front of you, and lets you pick it up as makes sense to you. He's not picking any one individual to hand it to.
Would I be able to, if I can't read it per se, would I be able to at least identify some sort of the language it's written in with like history or something?
Yeah, go ahead and make a just a straight up intelligence check as you look at it.
Let's see. On the ability side for this,
Right.
correct?
Yeah, just go ahead and make a straight up intelligence check. All right. Okay. This is clearly it's Chulton, no doubt about it. You can decipher some of it because it's a common script. It's just a little bit different in terms of design. You're taking a look at it, and it looks to you like, um, so this was a journal, probably from an arcanist, maybe a wizard. And he talks about a traveling companion he had, and the guy's name was Vorn. And so, yeah, I mean, you're getting a pretty good idea of what it was. Looks like this wizard was traveling, and he had a shield guardian with him, which is a type of construct that was defending him. And apparently, its name was Vorn. All right, that's what That's what you're getting from it as you take a look at it. It takes you a few minutes to sort of search through it and sort of decipher it, and it's a little bit hard to read. But as you get into it and you get used to the cadence and the pacing, you're like, okay, all right. It's kind of like if you read Spanish, reading Latin. There's enough common that you can see it, but it takes a little bit of work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there any like maps inside that can add on to our current map or no?
Yeah, hang on a second. Give me a survival check. All right, let me get this on the map for you. Okay. You're having a hard time making sense of it. I mean, you've tried to kind of locate it on the map, and you're not quite certain. It looks like you think it's somewhere around Camp Righteous and Camp Vengeance on the map, but you're not quite certain where. It's somewhere in the northern part of the map, not the southern, but you're not completely certain.
So somewhere in between like Mistcliff Mountain and Camp Righteous. So somewhere in between there.
Yeah, let me draw something for you here.
All right.
Somewhere in you move this over. Somewhere in that box there.
Gotcha.
All right. It's somewhere in that box there. You're not certain exactly where. Somewhere in that general area. All right.
So comparing the notes and looking, you can see Gruel kind of scrunched over more so than normal, kind of sketching along and seeing what she can pin on the map. And she's like, perhaps somewhere in this area. This might be a good place for us to start.
So, and as you're showing your map, Wakanga looks over and he goes, "Oh, this is fine work, and this is fine work indeed." And he looks at Sindra and he goes, "Is this yours?" And Sindra goes, "Well, yes, it is." He goes, "This is excellent work." And he looks over and he goes, "You are right. It was," and he refines it a little bit based on your notes. All right. He says, I think right about there it was. And he talks to you a little bit and agrees with you on the left placement and says it was somewhere in there. And those are about 10 miles across, each one of those square hexes. And it takes about a day if you're not pushing yourself and you have enough water, which is a big deal. Even though it's hot and there's plenty of water, you're sweating all the time, right? If you've got enough water, you can do about a hex a day. And so is it somewhere in that 4 hex by 4 hex window?
Well, seems as if we don't have any other leads, perhaps this is a good place to start.
I'm sorry, what?
Perhaps, I suppose, around what time is it? How late is it? Like afternoon still?
Oh, we will have dinner tonight, but it's about Mm, 2 hours. 2 hours after sunset, the sun has just started to completely disappear from the sky, and
So I
the city.
suppose.
Go ahead.
So I suppose in the morning, if of course you all are interested, we could take a look down in this region.
Well, I
Make
would
our way
say,
I
over
go
there.
where you go.
um,
I know you do, my
so,
old chum.
uh,
I give him a little like head rub.
do you have a guide?
Not well, no, honestly.
So, I would suggest that you perhaps find a guide, because this is not a land that you are used to at all. You don't know what to eat safely, you don't know what to drink safely, and traveling to the jungle is not like walking across the open plain up outside of Baldur's Gate or along the sword close to the Chianta River. It's not the same thing at all. I would say that you perhaps should know someone who is specialized in this terrain. So. And Kent, was your goblin a city goblin or a? He was a city goblin, wasn't he?
No, he was an outcast.
He was an outcast.
For,
Oh,
he,
okay.
he was an outcast to both goblins and humans. He was an outcast to goblins because goblins thought he was weird for liking human stuff so much, and he was an outcast to humans because he was a goblin. So he's an outlander.
Totally get it. So he's just been ramming around since he was a little kid.
Basically,
All right, totally.
everyone thought he was weird. I'm an outlander.
Awesome. So he says, I have several very good friends who may be able to help you. Um,
That would most certainly be appreciated.
so let me see. I would say, out of the people that I know within the city, you should talk to Jobal. Jobal deals in guides and also mercenaries. So those are his two areas of speciality. He is a merchant prince in the same way that I am a merchant prince. Only those are the things that he deals in specifically. So I would speak him out. So, but tonight we will have a very fine meal, and I will give you, as you are Cinder's friend, you are my friend. You may stay with me this evening. Then, is this comfortable to you?
Oh, I am more than welcome to. Thank you.
So, my friends, then we will stay, and we will also. We have been playing for about an hour and a half. We will take our 10-minute break. It's about 7:30 now. We will be back at 7:40, and we'll be taking bio breaks as we need. And we will see you in about 10 minutes. Thank you so much for watching our stream, and thank you so much for supporting the games that we're playing together. And we'll see you in a little bit. Thank you. Hey, everybody. We are back. Welcome to Tomb of Annihilation with James and Kent and Ford and Aman. And we are going to drop right back into it. Let's see. All right. Okay, folks. So you staying the night, and you're having dinner. Anything you want to do tonight in the in Wakanga's villa, or are we pretty much just gonna have dinner with him and stay in our rooms?
Um,
I'm gonna look at the book thingy that Garul got.
All right. Go ahead and you can take a look at it, and you can make an intelligence check also.
Okay, let me.
I am
not
reading the picture
accidentally
book.
full screen Zoom. I'm not good at technology today. I'm having some issues. Okay,
I'm attempting to read the picture book.
feels. What did you say? Intelligence?
Yes. So if you look at your main tab, go to the main tab.
Oh, it's on main. Okay.
Yeah, and you've got your stack of your abilities, right? And you've got check and you've got save. You want to click check.
Okay, tell me if I did that right.
Yep. All right. Oh yeah, yeah. You are able to probably decipher more of it than Garul was, and you think probably what it is just, as a druid, you have a really good understanding for the lay of the land in maps, and you could see specific things that it was referencing that made sense to you. So you're able to confirm it's about in the same spot. You think you can narrow it down a little bit more, actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so you think it's actually right in there.
Hang on,
All
I
right.
can't.
Here, let me change the color of my dice so my outline changes so it's easier to see on that map. Give me a second here. We will red up the die a little bit. And I'm feeling like purple dice today, so we'll throw a little bit of blue in there. And I'll make white for my dice. And there you go. Can you see the purple there? Look,
I think
I'm
I
going to
can
push the
see
map
it.
out to you.
There we go. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, all right. So you've just narrowed it down to a much tighter area based on what you're seeing on the journal. All right.
Also, has everyone seen my stats yet?
Was I
Yeah,
supposed
that
to? I
later.
thought I couldn't.
I'll
Okay.
show you
Private.
later.
We are having. Are we having an out of character conversation, Kent?
Yeah.
So,
Sorry.
Kent wants you all to have stat envy. His rolls were absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. All right, enough of that. So you're looking. So you get the book, and you're looking at the book, and you were able to put some things together. So, Aponia, is there anything you want to do?
Well, like how long are we talking about time-wise?
Well, it's technically a long rest. So,
Um,
but I'm just wondering, are you staying in your room, or are you going to try and wander the house?
I will explore the house.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to explore the house looking for applesauce.
Actually, you know what? I will explore the house as,
The baby goblin.
yep, Little Garth.
Okay.
Which would instantly make, and this is between me and the DM for what we agreed upon, where he has absolutely threes across the board, and he's basically a baby. So
So he's crawling around, just checking the house out while you're sleeping, right?
yeah.
All
My
right.
main character's sleeping, and he's out and about.
I'm looking for any fruit-based sauce to use as skin moisturizer
So
because I'm a goblin and that's how I think.
And I have this little tiny table that I've created of things that Garth will do based on a D20. So,
Go ahead and roll and tell me what he's attempting to do.
all right. 4. He will be trying to find some shiny croissant rolls.
All right.
I don't think shiny and croissant go together, but okay.
So.
It's the rare variety. He does not know any better.
Fair enough.
All right. So, you guys. Are given
Yeah. It's basically the fake ones, the plastic kind.
that suite of rooms is guest rooms. All right. So you're in that suite of rooms. Everybody, has a bed or a sofa or whatever to sleep on. All right. And here is the common area that you pass through. All right, to give you a better idea of what the layout of things are. There's stairs going up to the family's private area. All right. So, Kazoo,
Yes.
you come out around the corner. All right. And there is a little goblin baby. All right. Going around the corner on hands and knees in turbo mode.
The fastest baby in the
I
world.
stand there for a good second going, wait a second.
So,
And I follow it.
all right. You come.
And I'm going to take it to go find fruit sauce.
It's going down this corridor at full crawl. All right. And when it hits the corner and it goes around, its leg kind of goes up in the air because it's doing a full kid crawl skid. Slap the leg back down and keeps going. Scurry. And you come running up around it and you look down the hallway and you see the little green body and going away with the diaper wiggling. All right. And it's heading straight down the corridor away from you towards double doors. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Yay! Something I'm horrible at. This is going to be awesome.
Can I
All
ask an unrelated question, OOC?
Sure.
What do the numbers on the map mean?
Those are, if this were a map that I made, I would not be giving, it wouldn't have the encounter key on it. But the map that's been put together by the folks at Forgotten's Realm didn't scrub the encounter key. So what there is that's room 1, room 2, room 3, and it's tied back to a key in the hardcover book. All right, on the map. How
see.
Fantasy Ground works is Fantasy Ground has pins on the map that I can reference. For example, I'm going to share one with you so you can get an
I
idea what it
rolled
looks like.
perception.
All right. And it just tells me what it looks like.
I see. Okay.
All right. Just a little bit of, game literacy. Oh, my God.
Interesting.
Oh. Baking bread. You can smell it as you come around the corner.
To the fruit sauce!
All right. Are you attempting to beat the baby to the door?
Yes.
All right. You may have you may make a dex check. Aman, please.
All
Go ahead and have the have your ward make your brother make a dex check.
Okay. I think create a sheep. I know exactly how much to. It will be
Oh, no
minus 4 since it's all stat 3, so it'll be a 6.
Okay. You cook past the baby, and the baby squawks as you go past. All right.
No.
And you pop open the door to the kitchen.
To the fruit.
And there are 4 servants standing there, and they're making bread and preparing stuff for breakfast. All right, and they look up like, "How may I help you, sir?" And you hear crying from behind you. Ah! You open the door and you look back out.
Yeah, I just look
The baby
back out and
goes,
go.
ah!
Just look at it like I have no competence with this.
So do you go
I'm
pick
just
the...
like, what do I do? I pick him up awkwardly.
All right. All right.
Alright.
So do you walk with the baby like this towards the kitchen?
Yes.
All right. You come back into the kitchen, and the baby, as you walk to the kitchen door, the baby goes, looks over its shoulder and goes, "Oh, how may I help you?"
I would like some fruit sauce.
Nga.
Please come in, and she says she takes the baby, all right, and looks down at the baby, and the baby goes, "Oh, so cute!" Oh, and she grabs a roll, and she hands the baby a roll. All right,
And then he grabs on to like both hands on top of it, and obviously like one little like baby goblin tooth is already grown
A
in.
giant roll.
Yeah,
So-
and like
this huge little mouth opens up with one little tooth.
yeah, one little tooth. And like,
Brian's is just trying to eat him.
I am Shasha. Do you have a specific sort of fruit you would like? I have mangoes. Would you like ground mango? I have bananas. Would you like ground banana?
Banana works.
Banana, okay. Plantain. Banana. So she hands the baby back to you, and she shows
I
you
hold
how
it awkwardly still, but I'm trying to like.
she hands the baby back to you, and she shows you how to hold the baby. All right. She
Okay,
said-
I hold the baby
she goes,
correctly.
Now,
Ish.
this is a rather strong, agile baby. I can tell this baby is healthy. And here is the rule of carrying a child: all in the circle of your arm or two limbs. And she goes, 2 arms, arm and leg, 2 legs. Either of those options is good, but do not just hold on to one limb, or the baby can squiggle free.
Okay.
All right. And of course,
Okay.
the baby's like, doesn't matter what she does, the baby has a roll.
Yes.
And the baby's eating the roll. One arm, the other arm, both legs, doesn't matter, eating the roll. All right. And doing it in. So she goes and she mashes up some banana for us. She goes, would you like nutmeg or cinnamon on the banana?
No, it's fine.
Okay. So she mashes up the banana in a nice little wooden bowl, and she brings it to you, and she sets it down, and she puts a spoon next to it, and she goes, is there anything else I can do for Wakanga's guest?
No, thank you.
All right.
I take the bowl and start heading to back to the rooms with the bowl and the spoon.
All right. The baby starts to head, and the baby's hand reaches out over its shoulder, and it goes, ah! And she hands it another roll, and he goes,
yeah, and it starts eating. And
I
then
attempt to take all of the stuff that I was given and the baby back to the rooms.
actually, may I have Garth do
Oh, this is about to be hilarious, isn't it?
yeah try to squirm on out with advantage since he is a baby.
you're trying to have him like escape a grapple? Is that what you want?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, go ahead. I mean, Kent, the baby's trying to get down. Are you okay with that? Or no?
Okay, I have an idea. I put him down, but I take the biscuit and I hold the biscuit just far enough away from him so it's like leading him with the biscuit.
Better option. May I try to do a punch of Garth? I assure you, it will end poorly for him. So they'll do like possibly negative.
They call it taking candy from a baby for a reason. All right.
No!
You have the roll, and the baby looks up at you like, "Oh, of course you know. This means war." And he goes,
No!
top of his lungs. If you had to,
With that,
I give
Aponia,
him back the roll immediately because I don't know how to deal with the situation.
and with that,
I just,
Aponia
I just
will
look super confused and handed back the roll.
actually.
Mac. So he sets you down, takes the roll away from you, attempts to tease you. Garth does his thing, and the roll gets stuffed back in the baby's mouth. So we are beginning action with Mac in charge of the baby and Kent in charge of Kent, with the baby sitting on the floor with a roll in its mouth and Kazoo standing over top of it with a look of awestruck horror that anything that small,
Deal with children.
anything that small can be that loud. Are we all in agreement?
Yes.
I'm stepping away from my players and letting them do their thing. Go for it.
So, while Garth is screaming, I'll do what I originally want to do. Is do a dual character scene with
Roll a
Aponia.
perception check to try and find your kid.
I think I can immediately hear him across the goddamn
What the
doorway.
fuck is this? It's just, I am very confused and have no idea what I'm
And,
supposed to be doing.
Give
here.
me go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay.
It's not going to be automatic that you can hear him. Although I
Yeah.
recognize that the primary reason we have this NPC is for really awesome role-playing stuff like this.
Cookie? Like,
Um,
I don't know how to deal with children.
Hold on.
Do you
There we
want
go.
some banana
I
paste
have perception.
with your thing?
Oh, your passive perception's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, so here you hear off in the distance down the hallway. You hear your brother crying,
Yeah.
and then
Immediately
you
the
hear-
noise is cut off.
and then you hear the noise stop suddenly.
And with that, my character's eyes shoot open, and
You wanted
yeah,
to piss
and you see the blare red of her eyes as she's rushed to where
like,
and then
I get the joke here. All right.
how much AP do you have?
11?
11?
Yeah.
Oh, I think you can survive this.
Oh no.
How much AC do you have?
14.
14?
Yeah.
Okay.
You gonna roll to hit me? Can I like roll to dodge with my decks?
Here's the deal, Mac. You come whipping around the corner, and you see Kazoo standing over in front of the baby, and the baby is on the ground eating a biscuit, happy as can be. All right,
And I am very confused.
Go ahead and make an insight roll.
Uh-oh.
He's like, how do
And
I
during
deal
all
with
this,
kid? I turn to Seer and just say, out of nowhere, thank God. Help me, I
Hold
don't know
it.
how to deal with it.
Kent, stop.
Okay.
Okay. Your brother has found a new adult to get to do whatever he wants. All right. He is currently driving the adult goblin. All right, and the adult goblin thinks he's in control, but the baby's totally got it running right now. Okay. All right. So you come around the corner and you see your brother eating the roll, and he looks at you and he smiles and he eats the roll some more. All right. What would you like to do, Mac?
well, the redness in my character's eyes will lower down quite a bit. the red of anger, fear, sisterly love, all that sort of styles down quite a bit. And I'll pick Garth up, place him on top of my head while he continues to eat. And I will...
When you say sit on your head, do you mean like legs around your neck?
No, like I mean literally his butt is on top of my head.
He grabs hold of a handful of your hair, and leans over and tries to shove some of the biscuit in your mouth.
And I gladly take a bite.
And he goes, yum, and goes back to eating. He goes, and then he looks over his shoulder and he holds it out as he bounces away at Kazoo, and he says, "I share."
Aw.
And then I turn around, bend down, and allow Garth to share a little bit of.
I visibly have no idea what's going on, by the way.
All right, so Mac just walked over. All right, Aponia just walked over, picked up her brother. All right, put her brother on her head. Her brother leaned over and fed her some of the biscuit. And as Aponia started to walk away, the baby leaned over his shoulder and goes, "I share," and held out the biscuit towards you. And Aponia turned back around, leaned over, and then the baby is holding the biscuit out to you so you can take a bite if you want some.
You can visibly see I have no idea what's going on. It's just like,
So, all right.
want anything?
So let me get this straight. So is this error 6666 kazoo.exe is no longer responding? Windows is looking for a solution. Is that
Yes.
what's going on? Okay.
Yes.
So you're not totally certain. You're not totally certain, but you think that your brother might have broken the other goblin.
And,
by the way, I'm still holding the bowl of banana.
and I will take a piece of the treat, and I'll try to, in those moments when there's like the character is sort of what Ken is explain, like where they're just blinked,
So Kazoo's standing there going.
and I'm just trying to,
So do you take a piece of the bread and just shove it in his mouth?
I tried to shove it in his mouth, realized it's not fitting, and I just put it in his bowl.
All right. And then you turn around and go back to bed.
Yeah.
So I think Lonely Chaser meanwhile is sitting in the lounge looking at her book. She sees the baby go out. All right. She sees the goblin go out. All right. She sees the satyr spring out of bed, go running out with death in her eyes, goes down the hallway. Then she sees the satyr come back in with the baby riding it on his head and the baby eating a roll. And then after about 20 minutes, she sees the goblin walk in holding a bowl, looking down at a piece of biscuit, like
Going, what just happened? Visibly just doing that. And I go into the storage room that's like right over here near the beds.
uh-huh.
And I proceed to moisturize with my banana sauce.
So you're rubbing banana all over your face.
Yes.
I think I'm just gonna mind my own business at this point. Like,
I also like to point out
I would like to say at this point that Aponia gets inspiration. And also Kazoo gets inspiration because you have amused the DM. And the best way to get inspiration is to give me giggle fit. So congratulations. You have both achieved inspirations. And Kat now gets you a second. All right, very good, very good. So I'm gonna ask this. Go ahead, Kat.
Yes.
James.
now while this is going on, Girl is going and making another little artificer tweak. She's basically gonna take like this the idea is a fake hornet's nest and make it sound like angry hornets. So just to have a structure that she can emanate that noise that will make people think there's danger here.
How many so are you dropping the light spell and shifting over to the noise
It said,
maker?
according to the skill, I get one of the magical tinkering works on one item I can have it on one item for every intelligence.
Oh, okay, cool. That's
Modifier
right.
I have.
All right, you have a few. So go right ahead.
Yeah, so I think I get 3 with my +3.
You do.
Okay, so yeah, I've got my blinding staff, and that's gonna be a flashlight. and I've got a fake hornet's nest that makes noise.
All right. Outstanding. Here we go, brothers and sisters. You are able to do that. Now, I'm going to ask this. I'm a little nervous about asking it, but I'm going to ask it. Is it morning yet?
Sure.
I think it's fair to say that we've arrived.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. All
I
right.
wake up and I immediately eat the rest of the sauce that's on my face, and then we go to continue.
Okay.
We're all a fun bunch of people.
Because moisturizing.
Kent,
Nothing should be wasted.
Kent, you just made me snarf vanilla cream soda.
Good taste.
I have aerated my sinuses with vanilla cream soda. Okay, so it is morning. All right. They, bring you to breakfast, right? And breakfast is in, and you actually had dinner in this room the night before. All right. It's everybody sits on low chairs and leans into bowls in front of the table and everything. So they bring you breakfast, and you will note, Guru, that there is fried banana and mashed banana has been provided and set close to your chair. All right. They seem to have known that. There's all sorts of interesting breads, some kind of rice cake, all sorts of interesting stuff, and whole bunch of beans and rice that seem to be very, very, very high protein. You're not seeing any animal flesh, though, although there was animal flesh for dinner last night. This is a whole bunch of interesting sort of pastes and spreads that are designed to go on this flatbread or on these rolls that they're giving to you. And there's also a lot of raw fruit. So they're eating, and they of course have a really strong, interesting spiced tea that they also provide to you. Yeah. So really lush, good breakfast. And Syndra looks worse. I mean, just like she's just fatigued and ground down by things, And she had a good night's sleep, she tells you, but she's dying. You can see it. So, and, Wakanga is entertaining. You meet his daughter, you meet his parents, you meet, his grandchildren. And he is obviously concerned about Syndra, but he is amusing you. He is talking to you. He's sharing information with you. And he says, so I have sent a runner over to my good friend Jabal, and I have asked Jabal to assist you in whatever way you can. Now, he's a merchant like I am. He's not going to give you credit, but he will introduce you to guides that he trusts. And those guides will give him a percentage of whatever fees you negotiate with them. So.
Well, that will certainly be useful. Thank you for that.
Okay.
You've been quite hospitable, I will say.
So, at least on your first time here in the city, in the port, you may stay with me until you leave the first time. Because I know I have spoken to Syndra. I've spoken to Syndra, and she's explained to me that you are new in your careers and may not have excess coin. And as I have no other guests that are here staying with me, I'm comfortable with letting you stay the balance of the week or until you leave. When you return from the city, when you return from your expedition, the first of many, I imagine, as you explore Chul, when you return, please check in and see if I am able to host you again. So I may have company. If I do, I will not be able to. But there are many good inns in the city, and I can point you to several. So...
Certainly. All right. Well, I suppose after... I kind of turn to the others. I suppose after breakfast we'll go and see who would be willing to look us through that jungle out there. Anywho.
All right. You go to Jabal's, and Jabal's house. Hang on a second, let me find it. Jabal's house is across this bridge, and that bridge, as you walk over it, is over top of the Grand Souk. And the Grand Souk, or market, is the largest market here. And what that is that a big central tent. And if you dive down in here, and I'm going to sync your view so you can see it at the same level that I am. All right. So you were coming from this building here, and you're crossing here, walking across this walkway to this building here. All right. And you're passing over the Grand Souk. And this is this massive bazaar. As you're looking down in it, you're seeing parrots, flying monkeys, flying snakes all over it in the eaves. And there's all those tents and stalls beneath it in one great central stall. And you're walking over top of it. And that is the commerce hub of the city. There's also a jewel market, and there's the red market. The jewel market deals with much more higher end kind of goods. The red market deals with more bulk commodities, more, things that like come in like a load of ore or a load of canvas or a bunch of salt, but a lot of finished goods, a lot of final consumer goods all pass through the Grand Souk. And you're walking over top of it, and it's gorgeous. It's this vibrant splash of color. And as you're looking out across it, you see that wall, and there's a few houses along that wall, but then you're out into the harbor, and you can see the warehouse district and the harbor district itself, and there's many, many, many boats at station out there, but there are probably 30 different warehouses, most, one store, a couple, one story, a couple two-story, but very distinct in terms of how their design is on the other side of the wall. So cross over and you go to Jabal's estate. Knocking on the door, I guess?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So older man, scars on his hands, scars on his face, clearly a warrior, but he's, late 40s, early 50s, definitely been around a while. He pops open the door and he looks you up and down, and he looks at one side of you to the other. And everybody give me an insight check.
Insight. Let me figure out where I put my.
Insight's on the skill tab, which is the third tab from the bottom on your character sheet. And all the skills are in alphabetical order.
Third tab from the bottom. Oh wait, found it, I think.
Wow.
Did that go? Did that work?
Nope, try it again.
Okay, hang on.
Oh, I grabbed the wrong die. Hold on.
Oh wait, I know what I did wrong.
Okay, you're
Slight
good.
misclick. There we go.
Okay. Every single one of you guys kind of all feel this at one time. You don't know if this is somebody who's very humanocentric and racist, but he is absolutely aware that standing in front of him is a turtle, a goblin, a tabaxi, and a satyr. All right? He sort of looks at all of you, cocks his head to the side, and finally meets the tabaxi's face, and he goes, welcome to the House of Jabal. Do you have an appointment?
Hi, we were sent here by what was his name again? I think I forgot. My bad. I'm sorry.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Zoom, all of a sudden we had a freeze for something in Zoom. All right, which...
I think it was on your end because the host connection was lost and then recorrected.
Yeah, I just got the connection was unstable, so that happens on our end. I'm directly I'm not on a Wi-Fi connection. I'm directly hardwired into the server, so it's a problem with AT&T right now locally.
Right.
Set it aside. We had it freeze up. All right, so Ford, the name is Wakanga. So
okay, yeah, I said we were sent here by Wakanga.
very good. please step inside. And this is a similar layout to the other area, but he leaves you in the outside room of the antechamber, doesn't lead you into a sitting room. And there's another guard standing there, younger man than him with crossed arms, and he's looking at you. And the older man steps in. And the older man steps in. And he says, "The master will be with you soon." How long are you guys willing to wait?
Um,
I have a book.
I'll
I have a
teach.
picture book.
I'll teach Garth how to speak proper Goblin.
Awesome.
I know how to
Can we all
Goblin.
speak Goblin?
I know three.
Speak Goblin.
Hang on.
I'm a goblin. I can speak Goblin.
Did you
I
know?
speak Goblin.
Did you know in Goblin, in English, there are about 12 different verbs for possession, right? You know, for mine. Goblin has 374 verbs for mine.
Wonderful.
Sounds about right.
And nailed it.
So, mine because you're not looking. Mine because I got there first. Mine because I'm bigger than you. Mine because, you know.
We get it.
But yeah,
Just all the
the
mind.
role would be content to wait 5 minutes before asking the guard
What's going on?
approximately how long the wait would be.
I don't know. You can leave at any time.
Rule kind of rolls her eyes and goes back to wait, like, we'll say another 25 minutes.
About 25 minutes later, about a half an hour later, slim young boy, probably about 18, 19, comes out and says, you know, follow me, and leads you into his sitting room. And
I just want to point out my goblin smells like bananas.
Wonderful.
I have a very busy day. I have a very busy day today. How can I help you? I would not only meet with someone who just arrived at my doorstep, but I've heard that Wakanga had sent you over.
Yes.
How may I assist you?
Not to. Yes. We were looking for a guide into the jungles. Wakanga told us that you would be the best man to come to for this.
Yes. I am. You're an unusual group, I will say that. Yes, I have several guides that work for me. Do you have any specific need? Will you be traveling along the river? Will you be traveling to the jungle? Do you have any specific destination in mind that will help me choose the correct person for you?
I guess I'll pull out the map and kind of show him roughly about where it is. I pull it out. I see it. Oh.
You are showing him the
Wait,
map?
No.
I guess I'd go to pull it out. Too trusting, Kazoo would stop me, and I'd just describe the area it's around.
Let me
It's
think.
uncharted territory.
Well, there's a couple different options for you, I think. Let's see. I would say, um, hmm, 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 hmm. Oh,
Can I roll insight to see if he's very distracted at the people at his doorstep?
yes, go right ahead. He just doesn't know what to make of you. All right, this is a really odd combination. And you guys have seen in the city tabaxi fairly commonly. All right. You've seen a couple turtles. You haven't seen any satyrs. And you see goblins off and on, but you have not seen a tabaxi, a turtle, a satyr, and a goblin, with a baby goblin riding along going, yippee, any place in the city. All right, so you guys are super, 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 super distinct. All
We're the
right?
team of misfits. That is the team name now.
The Misfits, outstanding. I would say Azaka Stormfang could help you. She's very, very competent, but she's expensive. She demands high coin. If that is beyond you, there is, Farul and Gadolo. They are people of middling expense. They, if they have any strength at all, it's that they have a large animal that they use as a pack mule. So they're available. I would also say Hugh Hackenstone. He's an albino dwarf. He's fairly competent, a little bit difficult and challenging at times. Let's see. Then there's Musharib. Musharib is also a dwarf. He's a little bit more traditional, a sun dwarf, however. And then there is Kawasha and Veggie Pygmy that works with him, Kudape. He is a nature priest, and Veggie Pygmy is his friend. They are very interesting. Also, you could see Salida. Salida is relatively new. She has a very sharp tongue, but she's competent. That would be the options that I think would best fit you. So, how are you? Are you seeking a full companion on your adventure, or someone who's willing to take a share, or are you willing to pay directly?
We're looking primarily for someone most accustomed with the general region.
So it is the competency of the individual more than anything else.
I think I would like
primarily,
someone
yes.
that's smart enough to. And you hear me, and mid-sentence, I switch to Goblin to say to Garul, "What does albino mean?" Very confused, because that's been distracting me the rest of this conversation. Once he said albino, I was very confused on what that meant. So I look at Garul and switch to Goblin and say, "What does albino mean?" Just super
him in
confused,
common.
like visibly.
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
I would say Musharib or Azaka Stormfang would probably work for you. Azaka is very expensive. Musharib is probably the best answer for you amongst the choices that I have. Musharib is a competent guard, and he is honest.
Very well then. Where can we find this Mushalib?
Go to the Red Market. And he describes a place within the Red Market where there's a stall. I believe he is there talking to people as they come off the boat, attempting to secure employment. And he, takes out a small piece of parchment and rubs some symbols on it with his thumb after he dips it into some ink in his purse, folds it over and twists the corner and kinks it down, reaches over to a candle where there's some wax, smears the wax, presses his ring against it, and holds it out to Garul and says, "Take that to him."
I will receive it, and we will receive it. It's like, yes, thank you for your time. Then.
If you need to speak to me in the future, do not assume I will make myself available to you. I have much business that I do. You may come and ask for an appointment, and I will get you on my schedule. Eh?
Understandable.
Okay.
Girl just starts to make her way to the exit with letter in tow. A bit quicker than she normally would.
Understood.
I follow her.
I also follow.
I will. I follow, but at a distance.
What's that mean?
I'll be at the end of the pack.
You got it. Uh, 50 feet back, 100 feet back, 20 feet back.
50 feet back.
All right.
Far enough where he seems separate from us, I'm assuming.
Yes.
least until we get there.
All right.
Would I be able to notice this passively?
Oh, absolutely. Not
Also,
standing. So it's part of your group, and I don't think Aponia is trying to hide it. It's just Aponia is farther back, and I think as you look back, you can see that Aponia is not watching you. Aponia is trying to watch everybody who might be watching you. Is that accurate, Mac?
Part yes,
Okay.
part me watching, just generally just looking around, as well as looking at the group as
Okay.
well,
Okay.
specifically if there's anyone.
So you cross down these stairs. See the stairs that are right here?
Mhm.
So you cross down these stairs and you walk along, and he's giving you pretty straightforward directions. You come down into this area right here. All right. And this is a lot of locally owned stuff, a lot of bulk goods. So this is like meat, vegetables, fruit. You're seeing some tropical clothing. There's somebody hawking insect repellent. So things like that. And also some bulk goods like, salt, grain, but a lot of household goods. And there are, you actually can see standing up on a small box. All right, Albino Dwarf. Yeah, I'm sorry, he's the Albino Dwarf. All right, and he is standing there with his arms crossed, and he's go, "Hey, Jungle is my home. I know it well. I can guide you anywhere in Chult for 5 gold pieces a day. If adventure is what you want, join my quest to reclaim the Hackhammer, my clan's ancestral forge." And he is going through a speech. All right, and he stops, and he pauses, and he does it again. All right.
I'll walk up. Write down
I walk
a
up as
note of 2 people's names, which generally I sent you sort of what the 2 people that I'm talking about in the privately, and I walked on over. By chance, do you know these 2 people?
Hang on a second. I got open chat.
Yeah, I basically describe them, but it's these 2 people.
No, would he have any way to know them, Mac?
Their names?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't know their names. They told me their names.
All right. Would he have any way to know them? I mean, are they from this part of the continent? Because he's only from here.
Oh, yes.
All right.
At least one of them is from this general area.
He goes, "I've heard of your father."
Or one of the mothers. Both are female.
What are the races of your mothers?
Centaur and dwarf.
He knows the dwarf.
Yeah, centaur dwarf, so makes sense.
And he speaks to you. He speaks to you directly in Dwarvish.
I did not hear anything of what he said.
All right. And he says Dwarvish again. No one in the party speaks Dwarvish?
I'm pretty sure I don't. Let me check though.
Yeah, I don't. I only speak Goblin and
Yeah, I definitely do not.
All right. He nods, and he goes back to Common, and he says, I know your mother. She of the blood. So, and he says, I'm a little surprised that she hasn't taught you the true speech.
Yeah, and I kind of will look down and up and sort of like motions at her entire body. Yeah, you can kind of see that I did not inherit any of her genes.
He likes that, and he slaps you on both shoulders. He goes, "All right, yes. So I've heard. I know your mother. So more by reputation than personally, but so you are her ward then,
You can say that.
a Bond's child then, a child not of blood but taken in spirit.
Yes.
This I understand. This is a common transaction among dwarfs where we find foundlings and bring them into the light in the way that we can." So he goes, "And these are your friends?"
Yes.
So, he bows, steps forward and does this and says, "So, you seek a guide then?
Yes.
Yes.
So, this is a good place to meet, but not a good place to do commerce. Come with me."
All right.
And he walks down the street, all right, around the corner, and he walks over to a little restaurant, all right, sitting open air. It's got a tent over top of it, and he plunks down and he claps his hand. "Ale! Oh, excuse me, ale," he says, and sits down. "We will have a drink. Sit.
Okay.
So, and everybody, well, okay, we've got some pretty good perception checks here. We got some passive perceptions. When you step into this chair, when you step into this little, so you know how you've got a table and it's got benches next to it, and there's like an umbrella hanging over top of it, right? It's not quite an umbrella. What it is it's a cloth draped. When you step in underneath it, the sun decreases. It's not nearly as hot, but it's suddenly quieter. And go ahead and Garul and Lonely Chaser, go ahead and give me Arcana checks.
Arcana checks.
I have no Arcana, so I cannot help.
So, Lonely Chaser, you've never seen anything quite like this, but there's definitely a difference in the sound inside of the area underneath the dome, underneath the tent, and both. Gruel, same thing. You think there's some sort of magic and plane that muffles sound in here, but you're not certain what it is or what the full effects would be. So, but you step down in underneath it, and you're definitely in some sort of magical effect that affects sound in and sound out. So, and he bellows and says ale. And he says it in a very specific way, all right? And you see someone come over, and he sets a silver piece on the table. And the person picks up the table piece, and he goes, "For the ward," and tucks it in his purse. And she says, "I'll be back with your drinks." She's gone. And he goes, "Say what you say here. And the only way somebody can understand what we're saying is if they can read your lips." So I had a very specific accent I was going to do for this guy. I'm just going to default back to Irish for the sake of simplicity and because, hey, he's a dwarf. So you can say things that you need to say here. The only way if somebody can see, understand who we are is if they can read our lips. And, I don't see anybody keeping a close eye on us. So while you be traveling, how can I be helping you?
Well,
We're trying to do something about the death curse that's been happening to people. We're supposed to be looking for the soulmonger, but we want to get a lay of the land before we do that. And I feel like it'd be a good idea to have a guide.
Well, I got someone that's been after me to travel with, to take her down the river to Fort Vengeance. And it's only her, and I didn't want to go down there by myself. But if you're willing to travel down there with me, I think we could go, and she'd help cover the cost of my fee for you. She's a cleric of Tyr, and Fort Vengeance and Fort Vengeance and Camp Regis, right? They both are, the folks of the Temple of Tyr are down there, sort of en masse, and they've been trying to fight the undead that have been pouring out of the jungle for a while. So, let me talk to her. Tell you what, the You know where the Broken Flagon is? Are you familiar with town?
Well, truth be told, we only got here yesterday, but would I remember this place?
No, you haven't heard of it. He says, all right, if you don't know the Broken Flagon, I'll tell you about it. And he describes an inn out in Malar's Throat, which is a little seedy. It's outside of the walls of town, but he describes an inn for you. He says, yeah, meet me out there. It's where I'm staying. It's a cheap place to stay. And I'll have her meet us also. Then, you can talk to her. We can all come to an agreement on how we want to travel together. I think that'll probably be the best way to approach it. So, but
That sounds reasonable.
I normally charge you 5 gold pieces a day to travel.
That is what we heard.
But I got a personal problem that I'm working through also. It's an issue, and I've been talking to folks about it, and everybody I don't think necessarily wants to commit or understands. But I'm also looking for some partners in a specific event, a specific problem that I've been having for me and for my clan that's got some long-term problems for it. I'm trying to reclaim Hrakamar. It's my clan's ancestral forge. Now, we had a volcanic eruption that forced us to abandon it many years ago. And the Fire Knights that have taken over this area have to be driven out or destroyed. At the very least, we got to sneak in and recover a relic from there called Morden's Gauntlet. They can't keep it. It's a desecration of a sacred object. If you love Dwarvenkind and you are a ward, then I think you'd, help me with this and to find it and return it to my lawful owners. If you promise to help me, I'll help you with your task, with your quest, and I'll waive my fee if you're willing to partner up with me. How do you feel about that?
I wave my
I'll
head.
be willing to help.
I wave my head in both yes, of course, and then yes because of obviously my mother
I am
told
willing
me a
to
little bit
help.
about this beforehand, and
I am
we
willing
get
to
to-
help. This sounds like fun.
Okay.
I am a goblin, but I
Don't
like
get me
big people
wrong.
things.
I'm more than willing to aid you in this, for it seems for I do have much respect for Dwarvenkind, all races at that. Our friend has the death curse and only has a few months.
So
We'd
we
like
will
to
help
hopefully
you.
find the artifact as soon as possible in order to save her life.
Well, this I can understand, and I'll tell you this, though. You got to travel. You got any idea where it is?
We have what we hope is a lead, but that's about it.
So
I
we
get
could,
what you're saying.
we could.
Oh, wait.
We'll
never mind.
we'll take ourselves where the journey takes us. All right.
That seems perfectly fair.
If the way to my clan passes through the way to help save your friend and deal with the death curse, then, and what monger did you call it?
Soulmonger.
The soulmonger helps you find the soulmonger, then we'll take that path. If it doesn't, well, we'll get to it
We'll
eventually.
still help you.
All right. So the deal is here. Then we promise to help each other. We have mutual invested interests. Then is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Indeed.
All right.
You seem like an honest fellow.
So,
I mean, but that's coming from a goblin, so it's not much.
well, I've known many goblins. There's the crazy ones that live in the forest, and then there's the folks that live in the city, and they're just like us.
And you see see my character smile with a good, happy smile,
He goes.
slightly.
All right. Meet me tonight then at the Broken Flagon. And I'll introduce you to another potential client who I think's willing to go down the river with us. Just her and me didn't want to do it. So, however, all of us might be a good thing. So, any of you folks skilled using a canoe or a boat?
No.
No.
All right. Can you swim?
I can't. Sort of.
If everybody's got athletics here, you assume to swim. The issue is, can you swim well? So he says, all right, well, the easiest thing for us to do is to take canoes down the river. That's the easiest thing for us to do. We can walk it, but it's a lot harder trip. If we go down the river via canoe, we'll make better time, and we'll be less of a target for the things that are wandering around the shore. I'd prefer to do that, but tell you what, We'll take a couple days to practice, and I'll teach you the basics of how to use an oar and stuff like that before we go. Does that sound fair?
That's fair.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
Now, you're the sponsors of this, so you're going to have to pick up some canoes. All right.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Second thing is, can any of you magic up good water?
I think I know how to.
Because if you can't magic up good water, we can. You just got to boil the water. There's some parasites that live in the water that'll give you all sorts of diseases. Might even turn you into undead, is what I hear in some areas. So if
Yeah.
we can make good water, talk to the gods and have them bring it and share it with us, that's a good thing.
Oh, I can make good water just fine. Kind of cracks her knuckles a little.
Or, we could just boil it and kill all the stuff within and let it cool and then drink it. So, all right?
That works too.
Either
So
way works.
now, Aponia, I might be exaggerating slightly, but there's bugs out there that could carry off that little bundle of joy on your back. Seriously, you get 30 or 40 of them big skeeters stuck in it, they can lift him right off and carry him away from you. So you better put some money in some insect repellent too, and you can buy that here. All right, and you can get it in incense or you get it in the grease. Either works. The incense will help to comp at night. The grease, so keep them from chewing on you as we're traveling through stuff. But seriously, you ever heard of you ever gotten achy joints? You ever heard about malaria?
I will do a nature check. Which would be better, medicine or nature for my character?
Either works based on your stat roll. Both would give you information.
Okay,
I'll
Yeah.
probably roll as well.
I'll roll survival, actually.
11.
All right.
Yeah, I guess barely enough to know that's a thing.
Oh, you guys, we got a bunch of 10s and an 11. So you have heard of malaria. It's some sort of disease that occurs around swamps. Nobody's really certain what comes from it. But he seems to imply that it's communicated by insects is what he's telling you. And he's saying that you have to drive the insects off. So yeah, the malaria, it gives you fevers and swells your gut, gives you all sorts of pain, can kill you if you have it long enough for enough time. But anyhow, the bug repellent to help protect you from it. Of course, if you're on good terms with a temple, you can always go to them and ask them to purge that disease from you, and that they can do that. And that seems to still be working, although the rage spells no longer do. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
So
Indeed.
I would say, let's see. There's 4 of you and the 2 of us. We probably ought to have 3 canoes. 3 small canoes or 2 big ones. And that'll give us enough place to carry our supplies. You're going to need food for us. And you're going to need a water catcher, supply of water, a little bit of salt.
Should we bring like a pack animal?
No, not if we're taking carts. Not if we're taking the canoes. The canoes will function like that for us.
Okay.
So why don't you do a little bit of shopping today? And you're going to need this stuff regardless of who you're talking to. And, meet me at the Broken Flogging tonight. A little bit after sunset when the air starts to cool down a little bit. And it's just, it's muggy and dark and not muggy and bright. So, and how he's dressed is he's got a tunic, big, thick, heavy sandals, and he's got a wrap. All right, that's got that sort of checkered pattern you see on his illustration, and he puts it around his chest or he puts it around his head. And he wears it over his head when he is in the sun because it looks like from the scarring on his hands, he burns real easy because he's an albino dwarf. And when he's underneath the shade, he takes it off so you can fully see his face and the tattoos and marks he's got on his forehead and above his eyebrows.
I look over at Garul and I say, "Does albino mean nice?" In Goblin, to be clarify.
And I respond, possibly. Back in Goblin.
You can speak us too.
I just look at both of them and like raise my eyebrows. And I'm like, I don't think so. In Goblin too, also.
We all just say that again. We all just automatically have a conversation in Goblin. It's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Nice. I like being able to do that.
Good times. All right. Let's see. He says, "Well, all right. I'm gonna go see. I'm gonna go find Undrill and make certain that make certain that she's okay with you traveling with us. All right,
Fair enough.
and we'll move from then.
Sounds
Right.
good to me.
All right." And he stands up, and he heads up. All right. See you this evening. And he stands up and walks away. And of course, they brought you all mug of ale. You can drink it or not drink it based on your disposition. He most certainly does.
I drink it.
I'm pretty sure I drink it.
I attempt to drink it.
It's
Keyword is attempt.
It tastes like somebody took a loaf of bread, shredded it, and made it into paste. Which is
Okay,
kinda
then I would still drink it.
All right.
So basically Guinness. Ha!
He
Right.
doesn't. My goblin does not like fine wine. He thinks it tastes weird.
All right.
Trust me. if
He
it's
likes
anything
really
like
shitty booze like beer, though.
Trust me. When it comes to beers, Guinness is baseline at best. Trust me.
Oh,
yeah.
God. My name's Kilgore. The whole family's a bit Irish. If you be talking trash about the Guinness, that might be an issue.
I'm
That's all I'm saying.
43% Scottish. 43%. I got my ancestry DNA. My grandfather was 100%. So I know a little bit about beer.
You're not proving it talking trash about the Guinness, lad. That was awesome. So here's where we are. We are about 10 minutes before the end of stream. And we know you've secured a guide. He's given you some ideas to shop. What I'm going to suggest is that we wind down the stream. We talk a little bit about what we've experienced today, what our thoughts are about our characters, and what our expectations are moving forward. And next week, we'll begin by finishing the shopping you've got and going and meeting Andril and also talking a little bit more with Musharib and getting an idea where you're going to travel next. Does that sound like good for everybody for next week?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Outstanding. I guess what we'll do is tell you what, Ford, let's start with you.
Well,
What did you think about today? What did you enjoy from your character's perspective? And what are you thinking about the situation your character's in?
what do I? Okay, I need to start from the first question. What did I think about today? I thought it was good.
Good. So, what's your character's thinking right now? What's she thinking about this place and the people she's traveling with?
She thinks it's really interesting and fun. There's a lot of cool, people, cultures, interesting things to learn about, and she's excited to adventure.
So, at this point, she's just sort of soaking up the world, trying to figure it out. Is that kind of what's going on?
Yes.
So, all right. So this is a completely different city than any place she has ever been. Is she enjoying that difference?
Yes.
Awesome. So to her, this is like a grand adventure with new places and new things, right?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So, James, talk to me a little about what's going on with Garul.
Well, Garul is certainly... There's still a bit of unease being back in her home turf of Chult. It's just... It hasn't really... It's kind of leveled down a bit, but it's kind of still in the back of her mind that she may encounter some familiar faces that are not going to be very pleasant to re-encounter.
So she's worried about her past coming back to haunt her is what's going on with her, right?
Yeah.
All right.
But at the same time, she's here to get a job done, so she wants to get it done, you know?
Yeah, I definitely got a vibe off of Garul. Like Garul was like, okay, let's get a guide and get out of town now. Yeah, I definitely got that vibe from you. So, so it's good to be home, but it's scary is kind of what I'm getting from you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, all right. Kent, let's talk about what Kazoo's thinking right now. And, talk me through Kazoo's perspective on the world, about the people he is traveling with.
He thinks that the Tabaxi is super nice and very polite, and he doesn't understand why. Garul and him have been traveling together for a very long time, so he knows Garul. The goblin baby freaks him out, and he doesn't understand it. And and what was Mac's species?
Satyr.
Yeah.
And the satyr, very, very pretty, but doesn't understand why she has a baby goblin with her.
So at this point, Garul's kind of like, "Oh, new friends. Weird new friends." Is that
Kind of
Kazoo?
was like that.
Okay. All right. So Kazoo's liking everybody, but thinking, what's going on here? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
So what's Garul's greatest aspiration right now?
Kazoo's?
Kazoo's greatest aspiration. Sorry.
He thinks that dwarf guy is very nice, and he wants to figure out how people... He still doesn't understand bigger people customs, and he's trying to learn them.
Okay, cool.
And so far, every group of bigger people he's met has different customs, and it confuses him.
All right, very cool. So, Mac, walk me through your experience and where your character is.
Well, I'll do Aponia's first. Aponia definitely, with the meeting of the dwarf, definitely is she has to help out someone who heard of at least her mother. And definitely going to be helping him out as they go along. Greatest aspiration right now would be that plus trying to well, get to know a little bit more about the of his clan, because hint hint nudge nudge, she came from a temple of both monks and clerics,
Yeah.
and Forge clerics and way of the Kenzie monks. So if it's relating to a forge, she knows that she has to get to know it.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't necessarily plan that. I'm glad that synced up for us.
Yeah. And for Garth, he's just here to ride along. He likes the big goblin. He likes everyone, but he barely knows everyone else at the point except for the big goblin. But he really wants to sort of get to know everyone and be more playful with everyone. And by everyone, I mean everyone.
Oh no.
He's in it. He's in it for Playmates and biscuits.
Yeah, Playmates, biscuits, and chaotic goblin fun.
So, I think he's good. I think he fits very well as an interesting sort of NPC alternative
Potential
character for
very
you. It's
bad
awesome.
thing to have.
Yeah, like if you need to just like wind down and like if you're all having like a stressful week or something, and we all need to just have shits and or giggles, I'm more than happy to take on the role of Garth as a full playable character and just have fun.
All I gotta say is party on, Garth. So I really enjoyed having him as an NPC, and I hope you were comfortable with how I stepped in and ran him.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, what we will do is next Friday, 6 p.m., we will play from 6 to 9 again. We really enjoy you stepping into our first session. Thank you all so much for joining us. Normally, we do some rating, but we're not going to do that at least this week. I have a couple things I got to get done, so I'm going to hop off the stream pretty quick. Thank you all so much for following us. Thank you all for coming in to play with me. I'm so glad we got the band back together. And we'll see you all next week, and maybe we'll have another player with us. All right. Bye, everybody. You have a great, great, great night.
Bye.